Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss what is list in Python. Basically, sometimes we need to store variables of same data type or different data types. So in Python, a list is used to hold the elements of same type or different data type. A list is basically a sequence of values which is called as items or elements. So here the elements can be of any type. The structure of a list is quite similar to a structure of a string. So next we will discuss how we can create a list in Python. So there are two ways to create a list. One is without using constructor. So if I want to create a list which holds 4 elements, so I'm going to write, let's have L1 equals to then square bracket. So list can be created by means of a square bracket. So 10, 20, 30, 40. So here I have created a list L1 which is holding 4 elements 10, 20, 30, 40. Let's display the L1. You can see my list L1 is displayed here with the element 10, 20, 30, 40. Another way to create a list by using a list constructor. So suppose I'm creating another list L2 with the list constructor. So I'm going to use this list class, then in bracket just specify the elements which you want. So suppose I want to create a list of fruits. So I'm going to write apple, comma, banana, comma, grapes. Then I'm going to display this L2. Let's run this. You can see a list L2 is created. Similar way, we can create a empty list also using a constructor. So we can write L3 equals to list empty parenthesis and then L3. So just run this. You can see a L3 is created, which is a empty list. Now the next is the extension. How to access the elements. So accessing the elements in elements of a list. So to access the elements of a list, we have a list L1 which is holding some elements. Suppose 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So my list L1 is holding 6 elements. Let's display this. Now you can see the list L1 is holding this 6 element. Now suppose I want to access the first element. So to access the first element, we will use the indexing operation. So the indexing operation is like this. L1, the name of the list, and in square bracket just specify the position of the element which you want to access. So here the list which we have created L1 equals to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So we can say that 10 is stored at location 0, 20 is at 1, 30 as at second, and so on. So if I write L1 of 0, so let's run this. You can see the element located at 0th location is 10. Same way, if I want to see the next, so I'm going to write L1 of 1. You can see when I run this, I'm getting the element as a 20. That means at second location, element 20 is present. Now, if I write L1 of 5, so now you can see the element 60 is displayed here. That means the last element, which is 6th element, is present at 5th position. Also, we can have the negative indexing. your Python supports negative indexing as well. So the last element present in the list occupies the -1 location. For example, suppose if I write L1 of -1. So this is going to display the last elements, which is 60. If I write L1 of -3, that means from right hand side the third element is going to display. You can see 40. So here if I go to the string list, let's display this L1. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 60 is located at -1 location, 50 is located at -2, 40 is located at -3. That's why when I have accessed L1 of -3, I have got the output as a 40. Next, so let's discuss the next operation, that is list slicing. So to perform this list slicing, we need to follow this. We need to specify the start position, then colon end position where we have to stop, as well as we can specify step size also. So let's consider one example. Suppose I'm having one list L1 which is holding elements 20, 30, 60, 70, 55, 25. These are the elements available in my list L1. Let's display this. So L1 is holding the 6 element. Now I want a list holding only first 3 elements. I want the list holding first 3 elements. So I'm going to write L1. Then in square bracket, I need to specify the start position from where I want start accessing. So from 0th position, then colon end position we need to specify. As I said, I want first 3 elements. So 0, 1 and 2. So my point is going to be last 3. Let's run this. You can see the first 3 positional elements are displayed here, 20, 30, 60. So the last we need to specify always +1 position. Okay. Now suppose I want to access every second element from the list. That means I want to access 20, 60 and 55. So in this case, we need to specify the step size. I'm going to specify 0, colon, up to 6, colon, second. So this will access every second element available in the list. Let's run this. You can see 20 it has access, then it has access 60, and then it has access 55. So this is what the use of your step size. Suppose I want to access the even odd numbers of my list. So in that case, I am going to write L1 1 colon 6 colon 2. That means from first position onwards, it is going to access every alternate numbers. You can see, so 30, 70 and 25. So this is how we perform the slicing operations on list. Again, some more, if I modify my list like this, L1, now I'm not specifying my start position, I'm specifying colon, and then I'm specifying the end position, that is 2. So this will access my first 2 elements of the list, that is 20, 30. So by default, it will start accessing from the start position. Now suppose I want to access the list in reverse order. I want to access the list in reverse order. So I'm going to write L1, then colon, colon, -1. That means start to end is going to blank and the step size is going to be -1. And let's run this. You can see my list is displayed in reverse order. Now I want to start accessing element from -1 index up to 0 with a step size of -1. Then in that case, I am getting the output as 25, 55, 70, 60, 30. In reverse order, we have accessed the elements. Now, let's see some more examples. Some inbuilt functions in list. So to have this, suppose I have one list L1 which is holding some colors. Let's have red, comma, blue, comma, green, comma, gray, comma, pink. So these are the 5 colors I have specified in my L1. Let's display this. So you can see it has displayed the elements red, blue, green, gray and pink. Now I want to find out how many elements are present in my list. So for this we have count function, or sorry, length function available. So how I'm going to use this? I'm going to write length of L1. So this will give me the length of L1. That means how many elements are present in my list. You can see 5. So the length of my list is 5. Another function we have is the max function. This max function is basically used to get the largest element from the list. Suppose I want to find which element is largest among the list. So in that case, let's create another list here. L2 equals to 10, 40, 60, 20, 30. Okay, now let's find out the max element. So I'm going to write max of L2 and let's run this. So you can see the max element present in my list is element 60. Similar way, if I want to find the smallest element available in the list, so for that we have a min function available. So how I'm going to write? I'm going to write min of L2 and let's run this. You can see the minimum element present in my list is 10. Again, suppose I want to perform the addition of all the elements present in my list. So for that, we have sum function available. So we can write sum of L2. So this will perform the addition of all the elements present in the list. Let's run this. You can see 160. So the output I have got is 160. One more function we have available is the random shuffle. Sometimes there is the need to shuffle the list randomly. So for that we have the random shuffle function available. So for this we need to import random first. Then we can use random dot shuffle and then specify the list name which you want to shuffle randomly. Let's run this. Now let's display whether it is shuffled or not. You can see my list is shuffled. Initially, my list was this 10, 40, 60, 20, 30. And when I perform shuffle operation, you can see it is holding 10, 30, 40, 20, 60. Let's run this again. Let's have L1 first. So L1 is holding red, blue, green, gray, pink. Now let's import random. Now perform random dot shuffle L1 and then print L1. You can see red, blue, green, gray, pink and gray. So they have shuffled only pink and gray. So in this way, these are some inbuilt functions that we can perform on list. Then also we have some operators. List operator. So we have basically the three operators available. One is plus, another one is asterisk, and another one is in. So let's discuss. So suppose I have one list A equals to 1, 2, 3. Then I am having another list B equals to 4, 5, 6. Now these are my two lists A and B. So if I write A plus B, then let's run this. You can see when I have performed A plus B, my list is, the elements are combined in another list. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same way, if I want to perform this asterisk operation, that is multiplication operation on list. So suppose I have a list L1 which is holding the elements 10, 20. Then I'm performing L2 equals to L1 into 2. So this will copy every element twice. Let's display L2 and let's run this. You can see the list L1 elements are copied twice into L2. So it is holding 10, 20, 10, 20. Now the next is the in operator. So the in operator is basically used to determine whether a particular element is available in a list or not. If the element is present in a list, it is going to return a true. Otherwise, it is going to return a false. For example, suppose I have a list L1 holding elements 20, 40. Now I am checking 30 in L1. Let's run this. You can see it has returned false. Why false? Because my 30 is not present in L1. Similarly, suppose I want to check whether 20 is available in L1 or not. So I'm going to write 20 in L1. You can see it has written a true. That means my 20 is present. So another operation that we can perform is the list comprehension. So when list comprehension is used, when we want to create a new list from the existing sequences, then in that case we can use the list comprehension. So the syntax for list comprehension which you need to follow is you need to specify the output variable for output variable you need to specify, then for keyword, then a variable which is referencing a input sequence in list. This is what the syntax you need to follow. So for example, suppose we have one list L1 which is holding elements 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 6 elements. Now we want another list which our output list which is going to be the which is going to hold the 5, summation of a 5. That means suppose I'm having L1 equals to, now I have to perform the operation that every element of list 1 to be added with value 5. That means x plus 5. So this is what the output variable I want. The input variable plus 5 for, now we need to specify the variable reference, that is the x in L1. Now let's display this L1. You can see every element of list 1 is added with 5. So now my current list becomes 15, 25, 35, 45, 55, 65. Now, suppose I want to create a list with element 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppose L1 is holding elements 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, we want to display even elements of the list. Okay, we want to display even elements of the list using list comprehension. Using list comprehension. So what I'm going to write here, first we'll print the original list. Let's print L1. Now let's perform the list comprehension. So I'm going to write L1 equals to, now I want the x for x in L1 if x mod of 2 is equals to 0. So this is what the condition I have specified. If my element is divisible by 2, that means it's an even number. Just extract that element in L1. Now print even elements of list. Print L1. You can see my original list was 1, 2, 3, 4. Then after performing the list comprehension, it contains 2, 4. So this is how we can perform the list comprehension. Now, so let's discuss the another methods available in list methods. The first method which is available is the append. Append function or append method is basically used to add an element to the end of the list. For example, suppose I have one list L1 which is holding elements 10, 30, 40. Now I want to add 20 at the end of this list L1. So I'm going to write L1 dot append 20. And now I'll print this L1. You can see my list is now holding 4 elements appended with 20. Another method which is available is clear. If you want to remove all the elements of a list, we can use this clear method. So we'll write L1 dot clear and let's display L1. You can see now L1 is empty. That means all the elements are removed from list L1. Now the next operation or next function is the count function. Sometimes we need to count the number of occurrences or number of times the element X appears in the list. So in that case, we can use this count function. So suppose I have list L1 which is holding elements characters A, B, comma C, then again it is holding A, again having B, having A. Now I want to count how many times the A is present in L1. So I'm going to write L1 dot count function, and in bracket just specify the character which you want to count. So as I want to count how many times the A is present in my L1. Let's run this. You can see 3 times. If you see A1, A2 and A3. So in this way we can use the count method to count the number of occurrences of a particular element. Then we have another method available is the extend. Suppose we want to grow a list, or we want to append all the elements of a list to another list, then in that case we can use the extend function. Suppose I have two lists, L1 is holding 10, 20, 30. Then we have another list L2 which is holding 40, 50, 60. Then if I want to extend list L1 by L2, then I am going to write L1 dot extend by the content of L2. So I have written L1 dot extend L2, and then let's display L1. You can see now L1 is appended with all the elements of L2. Suppose I want to copy the content of one list into another list, then we can use this copy method. So as we have written L1, L2 upper, so I want to copy the content of L1 to another list L3. So I am going to write L3 equals to L1 dot copy. Let's print L3. You can see the content of L1 is copied to list L3. Another function available is index. Suppose you want to get the index location of a particular element. Okay, now we have the L3 here. Now I want to find the index location of element 30 in list L3. So I'm going to write L3 dot index and the element 30. You can see the index location of element 30 is 2. So in this way we can perform the methods. Then another method we have available is the insert. So this is basically used to insert the element at a given index. Sometimes we need to insert element at particular location. Then in that case we can use the insert function. So suppose I have L1 equals to 10, 20, 40, 50, 60. So 5 elements are there, 10, 20, 40, 50, 60. Now suppose I want to insert element 30 at third location. I want to insert element 30 at third location. That means I want 10, 20, 30. So in that case, I'm going to use this insert function like this, L1 dot insert, that we need to specify the position. So as I said, third location, that means 2 comma element 30. First specify the position and then specify the element which you want to insert, and then display L1. You can see the element 30 is inserted at index location 2. Another function we have available is the pop. Sometimes we need to remove certain element, then in that case we can use a pop function. So how this works, suppose now I have L1 which is holding this 6 element 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So I'm writing L1 dot pop 1 and then display L1. So now you can see it has deleted the second or index 1 element, that is 20 is removed from the list L1. Now suppose I want to remove this 40. So 40 is available at second index location. So I'm going to write L1 dot pop 2 and print L1. So now you can see the 40 is removed. Another function we have is the remove function. So based on the value, if you want to remove, then in that case we can use this remove method. So now my list L1 is holding element 10, 30, 50, 60. Now I want to remove 50 from this list. I'm going to write L1 dot remove 50 and then I'll print this L1. You can see my 50 is removed from the list. Another operation we have is the reverse operation. So reverse operation is used to reverse the list. Okay, so if you want to reverse the original list, then in that case we can have L1 dot reverse now my list is reversed 60, 30 and 10. Now another function we have is the sort. So sometimes we need to sort the list. So to sort the list, we can have the sort function. So suppose L1 dot sort. Let's display L1. You can see now my elements are sorted 10, 30, 60. So I'll show you once again. Suppose I have one list having elements 2, 1, 4, 3, 8, 6, 5, 9. These are the elements available. Now I want to sort this in ascending order. So I'm going to use L1 dot sort and print L1. You can see now that all the elements are sorted. So in this way, we can perform the operations on list. The another operations that we can perform is the splitting a string. Splitting a string in list. So to perform this operation, suppose I have one string available in P, which is Python. Now if I display P, you can see a Python. Now I want to create a list from this string. So I'm going to write L equals to my list name. Then I'm going to use a list class and then I'll specify the string which I want to create. Okay, so let's run this. So now you can see my list is created with all the characters of a string. So now my list is holding this 6 elements. Another way to split a string in a list, what we can do, we have, suppose, a list holding, wow, what a wonderful day. This is what my string. Now I want to split this. So I'm going to assign b equals to a dot split. So every word is going to copy into a list. Means it will split a string into a words. Let's display this. You can see now my list is going to hold a words. Wow, what a wonderful day. So these are the basic functions or the operations we can perform on list. Now the last operation that we are going to discuss is the passing a list to a function. So how we can pass? Suppose I have one list which is holding elements 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. These are the 5 elements available in my list. Now I am defining one function which is going to calculate the average of this list. Okay, so cal average is my function name, and this is going to accept the input, that is what my list. Now here first we'll print all the elements of a list. Next we want to print the sum of the element. So to perform this sum of the elements of list, for this we have sum function available. We'll write sum of list. Now we have to perform the average. So we know that average is what the addition or sum of the elements divided by total number of elements. So we'll write here sum of list divided by length of list. So length of list will give you the total number of elements, and finally we'll print the average. I'm going to end this. Now how to call this function? So to call this function, we will call simply by writing the function name cal average, and to this I will pass the list. Let's run this. You can see list elements are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. The sum of elements of a list is 150 and the average is 30.0. So in this way we can pass a list to a function. I hope you have understood what is list, what are the different methods associated with the list, how we can perform the operations on list, and how we can pass a list to a function. Thank you for watching.